Imagine, just for a second, trying to build your own version of Amazon, Facebook, Google, and I don't know, maybe GoDaddy.
Oh boy.
Right, and doing it entirely by yourself, you would probably be like the most stressed out, sleep-deprived person on the planet.
I mean, it's a logistical nightmare just thinking about it.
Yeah,
Maintaining a single platform like that is a full-time job for entire teams.
exactly. Well, welcome to today's deep dive, where we are looking at an independent developer who has essentially built exactly that, an entire parallel internet from the ground up.
Which is just wildly ambitious.
It really is. And the kicker, he casually refers to himself as the programmer without stress after writing over 200 computer programs.
Which is quite the claim when you look at the sheer volume of his output.
Right. So, the core of our deep dive today revolves around a very specific source we got our hands on. It's a launch announcement and waitlist invitation from May of 2026 for a brand new platform called Alreflections Hosting.
Yeah, but our goal today isn't just to look at a new web hosting service, is it?
No, definitely not. We are going to unpack the incredibly ambitious, sprawling digital ecosystem behind it. We'll be talking about the democratization of the web for African innovators, an alternative online marketplace that costs just $3.60 a year.
Which is crazy.
Totally. And we'll dig into the uniquely philosophical creator driving the whole thing.
Because, if you just look at the hosting waitlist in isolation, you miss the entire architecture of what he's actually trying to accomplish.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because in their launch announcement, they offer a pretty sharp critique of the current digital landscape. They explicitly say that many hosting platforms today feel cold, complicated, expensive, or disconnected from the real needs of creators.
It's a sentiment I think a lot of independent developers share. The internet was supposed to be this, infinite open space, but the infrastructure has become heavily gatekept.
Yeah, relying on modern tech giants today, it kind of feels like renting a windowless apartment from a faceless mega corporation.
That's a really good way to put it. You have no control over the building.
Exactly. Whereas Al Reflections is pitching itself as more of a collaborative, community-focused workspace.
And what's fascinating here is who they are actually building that workspace for.
Right, the target audience.
Yeah, they're specifically building for upcoming entrepreneurs, African innovators, students, creators, and independent developers.
That's a very specific list.
It is. And this isn't just about server space. It's really about digital accessibility.
Yeah.
It's about lowering the barrier to entry for regions and groups that are, often overlooked by Silicon Valley.
Because if you look at the contact info in the source, there's a phone number with a +250 country code. That's Rwanda.
Right. And that changes the entire technical and economic calculus of the platform. For decades, the foundational tools of the web have been built by Western tech conglomerates.
With pricing designed for Western venture-backed startups.
Exactly. So if you're an independent student developer in Kigali, paying a flat rate in US dollars for server capacity that you aren't fully utilizing.
It's just not sustainable.
It's not. That's a structural barrier to entry. So to capture this specific audience, Our Reflections is employing a really unique launch strategy that relies heavily on community buy-in from day one.
Which brings us to the waitlist. Because they lay out some pretty specific perks for joining early in the source material.
Right, the classic pre-launch waitlist.
Yeah, you get early updates, priority access, special founding member offers, discounts, and the chance to test new features. Now, I have to play devil's advocate for a second.
Go for it.
Waitlists are literally everywhere right now. Every time a new app launches, there's a velvet rope. Aren't they usually just, a marketing gimmick to harvest email addresses and pump up user numbers?
Well, normally, yes. But I would push back on that here. You have to look at the exact phrasing in the source text.
Okay, what does it say?
They state that early adopters get, quote, a chance to become part of the first generation of users shaping the platform.
Shaping the platform.
Yes. This ties directly into that broader theme of creator empowerment. By framing users as founding members with a long-term vision, Al Reflections is trying to build a loyal, invested community, not just a customer base.
So it's a feedback loop, not just a mailing list.
Exactly. When a developer is building a tailored infrastructure like this, early user feedback is honestly more valuable than capital. It's a retention strategy built on mutual respect.
Wow. Okay, that actually makes total sense.
This highly personalized community-first approach makes even more sense once you look at the incredibly unique individual actually building it.
Oh, man. Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about the founder, Mhigo E.R. Anasha.
The bio is just fascinating.
It's staggering. According to the text, he has written 9 books and over 200 computer programs, which are apparently available on something called Juj Shop.
200 programs.
Yes, 200. And in his bio, he gives himself these amazing titles. He's the author of Time and Legacy and, my absolute favorite, The Programmer Without Stress.
The programmer without stress. That is almost an oxymoron in the tech industry.
Seriously. I mean, try to imagine writing 200 computer programs without stress. I tried to build one basic website once and almost threw my laptop out the window.
It's definitely not the norm. The stereotype is like chugging energy drinks at 3 a.m. over a missing semicolon.
Right. So how does this mindset actually inform the platform? Because building 200 programs sounds impossible for one person.
Well, what Mihigo does is blend this highly technical output with a really deep philosophical mission.
Okay, how so?
The source notes that he uses his platforms to share ideas, books, a free newsletter, a podcast, and a YouTube channel. And it's all to help people live what he calls a success-aimed life.
The success-aimed life. I like that.
Yeah. So Alreflections Hosting isn't just a business for him. It's a direct extension of his personal philosophy of empowering others to build a legacy.
So the code is just a vehicle for that.
Exactly. And practically speaking, writing 200 programs means he's likely using incredibly modular composable architecture.
Like Lego blocks.
Right. You build a core function once, and then deploy it across dozens of different applications. When your highly efficient technical skills align perfectly with a deep mission to empower your community, you don't burn out. That is how you become a programmer without stress.
That is just brilliant. But, it triggered a massive realization for me while I was reading through the source.
What's that?
If this one programmer without stress has written 200 programs, Alreflections Hosting must just be the tip of the iceberg, right? Like, what else is he building?
Oh, it is merely the infrastructure layer for something much, much larger.
Yeah, because I started looking closely at the margins of the source material, the footer menus, the sidebar links, and the scale of what this single company with a Rwanda phone number is offering is genuinely hard to wrap your head around.
It really is a sprawling ecosystem.
I'm going to rapid fire some of these because it's wild. This single company is offering Scribedom, which is a digital space for writers. There's an entire social media platform called iBlink. There is an AI tool called A Little Shark AI. There's Atina's search engine.
A search engine.
A literal search engine. Plus an e-learning portal called Skillbase. And a Get Your Business Fully Online in 7 Days promo. And then there is the marketplace.
Ah, yes. The Sawasoko marketplace.
I zeroed in on this one because the price point mentioned is jaw-dropping. It says you can open an online store and reach customers nationwide for just $3.60 a year.
A year, not a month.
A year. $3.60 a year. I was absolutely blown away by the sheer scale of this. This isn't just a hosting site.
No, it's really not.
It's a parallel internet, and they literally refer to it in the links as the Alreflections.
The Alreflections. It sounds like a cinematic universe.
It really does. But seriously, how does a price point like $3.60 a year even exist without the whole company going bankrupt?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this shows exactly what happens when tech is fully democratized.
Okay, break that down for me.
It proves that powerful development tools have become so accessible that a single, highly driven visionary can architect an entire interconnected digital ecosystem independently.
Because he owns the whole stack.
Exactly. The search engine, the AI, the social media, the e-commerce, and the hosting. Because Mihigo built the entire Alreflections himself, there are no middlemen. He doesn't pay enterprise licensing fees, and he doesn't pay a premium to an external hosting company because he is the hosting company.
Wow. So the cost of adding one more storefront to the marketplace is basically zero.
Precisely. It's fractions of a penny. He can offer an entire store for a few bucks a year because he controls the entire vertical stack.
That is truly staggering when you step back and look at the whole journey we just took. We started this deep dive looking at a simple waitlist invitation for a hosting service launching in May 2026.
Just a standard launch announcement.
Right. And we ended up discovering a massive digital empire built by a prolific, philosophy-driven developer.
It completely redefines what's possible for an independent creator.
It really does. And I want to address you, the listener, directly for a second, because there's a quote in the source material that says, "The future starts with small decisions."
That's a great line.
It is, and it makes you wonder, what small decision or idea are you holding back on? What project are you delaying because you think the infrastructure is too complicated or too expensive?
Because clearly, the barrier to entry might not be nearly as high as we've been led to believe.
Exactly.
And, I think that a final thought to mull over here is just how conditioned we are. We're so used to relying on massive, multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerates for our social media, our search engines, and our web hosting.
We just assume they're the only ones who can do it.
Right. But if one single programmer without stress can build an entire digital universe from the ground up, what does that say about the true limits of independent creation on the modern web?
It changes everything.
It really does.
Yeah.
Are we entering an era where one person's vision can successfully rival Silicon Valley? I think the Alreflections proves that we just might be.